Okay, so I wanted to make a YouTube video about how to decide what gear you should take from your vault. I feel like gearing in World of Warcraft is heavily misunderstood. There's no guide for it, there's no explanation, there's no hint in-game what you should or should not take. The reset just happened, servers just came back up, my vault is there. I want to take it, but very quickly I want to go over a few things. People ask me all the time on stream, let's get right to it. Do you open as Guardian or Feral? This is also going to be for every single spec. This season, if you are an M pluser and you have a full vault from M plus, you should not open as Guardian. Here is why. There are 3 tank trinkets that are bad. You do not want to see them. Codex is not a good trinket. There is a trinket from Arakara, the Ceaseless Swarm Gland. You don't want this trinket. And the third one, this is a little bit more optional, but basically Tome is only good for raid, right? If you are a Mythic pluser, this trinket is bait, it's been nerfed, and you probably don't end up playing this in keys. So what you want to do is you want to open as Feral. This way, you do not see any of the 3 trinkets. Now before, and the one caveat is people will say, well, I want my Ringing Ritual Mud as an extra defensive. Here is my cook on this, okay? This is important to understand. A heroic max item level Ringing Ritual Mud is basically the same value as a mythic Ringing Ritual Mud. The tiniest bit of extra verse is irrelevant from 13 item levels on that trinket, whereas 13 item levels on primary stat is quite a bit. The effect of the absorb will already save you at a heroic level compared to a mythic level. And so just for the chance of getting this trinket on mythic, I don't believe it's worth it. Also, you won't even play this for most dungeons because this tanking season is pretty easy. So what we want to do is make sure we are Feral loot spec. We have access to every trinket we want as Feral. You can get Sack Brood, Pacemaker, etc. Whatever you want, Feral is the play. The exception to this is if you are chasing your brand of Ceaseless Ire from Raid, this is a tank specialization trinket, and you will need to open as tank specialization if you are chasing this from Raid, but also there's a fair chance you will get this if you just raid normal or heroic every week because it is a tank-only trinket. Okay, so here we go. Feral loot spec. This is a live gearing guide. I have no idea what's in here. I have a full heroic vault and a full mythic vault. Let's find out. Do we get something good? Interesting options. Okay, this is a good vault. This is a solid vault right here. I have a few very decent options. Let's talk through it. A, mythic chest. This is a very appealing mythic slot. This is a good vault. B, mythic sack brood. A pretty good trinket. Not necessarily the best trinket, but a good trinket. And mythic gloves. We have decisions to make. Allow me to explain my decision. We are not going to be taking any of these on heroic. We are obviously taking one of the mythic items. So, mythic sack brood, not bad. Not a bad trinket. But the biggest value that I will get out of this is a chest piece. A chest piece gives you more stats than gloves. Check the agility on this. Check the agility on this. A mythic chest piece is massive value. Also, it just so happens that my chest piece is a champion normal tier piece. It is, in fact, my only normal tier piece, and the rest are heroic. So, mythic chest piece is the way to go. Now, unfortunately, I do not have a catalyst charge this week. So it does mean that I will not be able to use this if I take it this week. If I really wanted power this week, I would actually take gloves because gloves are my off piece of tier, and haste verse is slightly more appealing than verse mastery. But long-term power, there's no way I could pass up a mythic chess piece. So next week, this is a catalyst option. I will almost certainly be taking this mythic chess piece. I will be okay this week of not having it. You have to make these decisions sometimes. What I'm going to do with my gear this week as Guardian is, most likely, I will take that mythic chess piece, I will hold it in my bags for next week, and I will craft mythic gloves. This is, in my opinion, the best second craft. I did not craft last week in favor of holding for this week. I could craft mythic gloves with an embellishment, and that is most likely going to be my best option. Now, I am hoping for a mythic weapon from Vault. In the next few weeks, I am praying that I will get a mythic weapon from Vault. If The next week, I do not get a mythic weapon from Vault. I will consider sending, in 2 weeks from now, I will consider sending a mythic weapon craft. But I would have to be pretty unlucky. There's a very good chance that I will get a mythic weapon, even if not one of the Arakara weapon or this weapon, which has an extra effect. I am okay with taking a 10 item level loss on weapon just in favor of long-term power because I believe that those weapons are simply better than a crafted one. So what I'm going to do this week is I craft gloves, which means I will have crafted bracers and gloves at mythic item level with double armor lining for my embellishments. And I will be upgrading, not this chest piece, that'll be next week. And I will be sending my upgrades, my Gilded Crest here, and to finish off my mythic helm, which I got last week. Not bad on the Druid. I cannot complain. This is a mythic chest option. Now, let's go over to my other characters and talk about the differences in other characters, because not every tank should not open as tank spec, okay? So we'll go over away from the Druid. Next tank that I have is my Warrior. My Warrior has full Heroic Vault and also 2 mythic slots. I did not get to do 8 keys. I only got to do 2 keys on the Warrior. Now, Warrior has a lot of options for power because I have not pushed on the Warrior whatsoever. I have not sent any crafts. I have not sent any crests on the Warrior either. The Warrior is fresh. The only thing I upgraded originally on the first week, which was the best option, was a shield. I do know I have a mythic shield. If you are playing a prot warrior or a prot paladin, there is something very interesting to know about gear. You might not know this. What is the most important item level slot? You might not know this. You might be thinking to yourself, weapon, not a bad option. But actually, there is a more important item level slot, and it is your shield. And the reason is because item level on shield equals how much you block. Blocking reduces damage of an attack by X amount, 43.76, because I have a max 723 shield. Every point of item level on a shield increases your block value. This is massive for DR. So Prot Paladin and Warrior Tank, in defensive value, you want a shield to be your highest item level slot. That being said, let's think about my options here. I already have a shield. So what I really want on the Warrior, clearly, he needs a lot of items. I haven't sent anything yet. What I clearly want on the Warrior, a weapon would be really good. Although this does have avoidance on it, it's not upgraded. So I could craft a weapon this week, or I could hope for a weapon in Vault. But again, since I already have a shield, and I don't want any of the tank trinkets from keys, the only other reason I would open as tank is potentially to find a heroic brand. But in general, long-term power, because this is just an alt, clearly he's not even transmogged with his helmet that I got, is mythic track pieces. So mythic track pieces are going to be more valuable than a heroic brand. I can probably get a heroic brand from raid because this guy's already cleared. I can go do normal and heroic every week until I eventually get brand, which will happen at some point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my loot spec. There is a chance this goes poorly, but I believe I would rather open as Fury, because Fury has a chance at a one-handed weapon, which would work for Prot. There is a small chance I find a two-handed weapon. That would be less than ideal. But there is a smaller chance of me finding a two-handed weapon than me finding a shield, which I don't need, or a tank trinket that I don't want. So the best option here is Fury. Let's find out what we get. 3, 2, 1. And my gamble pays off. There is a mythic weapon here, and it is crit haste. Not bad. Not bad. I'll have to make a decision, though, because those legs also look pretty nice. Now we have to make some decisions. Okay. Now, here's the problem with these legs. I have 2 tier pieces on the Warrior from normal raid. These legs and this chest piece. If I take these legs, I will have to catalyze them. Now we have options. If I take the legs, I will have to catalyze them. Here's the thought process here. I can craft a weapon, I cannot craft legs. 3 item levels on a weapon, especially because the embellishment that I would want as a warrior is Ascension and /or Blessed Weapon Grip. but I'm going to make a weapon plus most likely either bracers and slash or boots, because I don't know if I'm going to get those heroic boots anytime soon. Realistically, let's say I want to play the warrior, I could craft bracers plus my off tier piece and slash or even a ring. Binding a binding is fine, but I think what I'll actually do is I'll go weapon for my first craft here when I actually want to play the warrior, and I will decide on the second craft based on what my items are at the time. I think that passing up mythic legs is simply too valuable. I believe for long-term power, knowing I don't want to push on the warrior, he's just a character I do a few things on every week. I believe there is no other option aside from these legs. These legs are going to be my biggest upgrade, and I can simply craft a weapon at 720. 3 item levels on a one-handed weapon is not the end of the world, and I can get my Ascension embellishment. So, legs it is. Cannot pass up Mythic tier. I do not Mythic raid. Remember, if you Mythic raid and you think you can get these, that's fine. I don't Mythic raid. This is my only shot at Mythic tier. I cannot pass up legs. We have to take the legs here. This is the option on the warrior. It is what it is. Now that means I'll have to loot some pieces to go catalyze, but I believe that I have these legs, these gloves, and this headpiece I got with leech, which is very, very, very nice, by the way. Extra leech on a tank while we're talking about gear. If you can, as a tank player, if you can find leech on any item, chef's kiss. Very good to find leech on one of these items. Okay, I'm very happy with that. Mythic legs, cannot complain. So far, 2 for 2 good vaults. Let's see if we can go 3 for 3. I have 2 other tanks to loot on. There are 2 tanks I'm not playing this season, which are going to be my Brewmaster and my Blood DK, but I did do a vault on my Prot Paladin. Look how pretty she looks. Excellent. I have a Prot Paladin, I have a Demon Hunter. Let's open these vaults very fast. Remember, as a Prot Paladin, what am I looking for? What do I want more than anything? Probably a shield. I haven't crafted. I haven't sensed anything. This character is basically still geared from last season, so she needs almost everything. Let's see what I get. There is going to be a singular slot. I'm an Altaholic. I will do 1 vault on every character I think I might want to play. So my Prot Paladin has a single vault. Let's see what we get. But in terms of gearing decisions, you have to understand Prot Paladin, Prot Warrior, shield, weapon, and then any off-piece or tier, right? Any off-piece to craft, you want tier obviously being your primary choice aside from shield and weapon. So let's look again. I do still need a shield. I do still need a weapon. I think I open here as Prot, because the chances of a shield are simply too high. So until I get one of those or I craft, I will open as Prot just in case. Let's see what we get. 3, 2, 1. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad indeed. I'll take that. You can compare it to my current helmet here, and that's a fair upgrade. That's why you do 1 key a week. This took me 20 minutes yesterday. I did it real fast. Actually, it was today, right before reset. Excellent. Cannot complain. That's a mythic helmet. I will start now when I want to play my Paladin. I will just start with a mythic helmet. I also happened to get last week a mythic chest piece. So congratulations. My Paladin now basically just starts with 2 mythic pieces whenever I want to play it. And then the week before that, I believe the other vault that I got, the first mythic was a ring, if I remember correctly. It was not so good. It was not so good. What did I get for my first mythic vault? I'll have to go back and check, actually. I have some mythic piece in my bags, but I don't even remember where it is. Let's go back and find that real quick. This is why you should always equip things as you actually loot. Because if I had a mythic helmet in my bags, I'd be kind of silly for taking that, no? What did I get from one of the mythic vaults? Let's find out. It wasn't a cloak for sure. It was legs? No. Boots? No. A ring? Wait, what in the world did I get on the Paladin? There should be 3 mythic items at this point, unless I just forgot. Search mythic and back. Oh, that's a great tip, actually. Mythic. Wait, what did I get? Now I'm so confused. This is a hilarious video. Well, I'm outing myself here. Maybe I didn't do anything. Wait, I might have just forgotten to do something, so I'm actually short 1 item. That's fine. I'll figure that out later. I feel like I'm missing something very obvious here, but we'll just excuse that. Forget about that for a second, and moving on. What? I don't make mistakes. Of course I make mistakes. I'm human. There should be 3 items there. I might have just missed a week on the Paladin. Very possibly. I might have just forgotten a week there. 1, 2, 3. Weird. Okay, let's move on. Demon Hunter. So Demon Hunter hasn't crafted anything. You basically just want not a ring. On Demon Hunter tank wants main hand weapon is going to be crafted. If not, I get it now. Your offhand weapon doesn't matter that much on Demon Hunter. So in terms of gearing on Demon Hunter, you're looking for mythic tier and one very good weapon. Offhand matters less than main hand. And then after this, we check my healers, and I'll be good to go for this vault video. But I hope that this helps, because gearing in World of Warcraft is such an immense decision. You know, you're always thinking, well, I don't want to mess this up because this is a very permanent decision. So I hope that this video provides some clarity on whether or not you should be opening as Havoc or Vengeance, Prot or Fury, Guardian or Feral. Because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change my loot specialization. You should not open as Vengeance. Havoc has access to the same weapons and better trinkets. So what do we get? I'll take Mythic Legs with speed. Can't complain. Can't complain about that. Once again, if you just do one vault a week, pretty solid. Pretty solid. Can't complain about that. There you go. There's one key. You simply do one key a week. And you start, whenever I want to play my Demon Hunter, he'll start with a few mythic pieces. Excellent. Can't complain. We're 4 for 4 right now. All right? We're 4 for 4. Not every vault has been this good, I tell you. All right? This is the vault I am most excited about. All right? Aside from my Druid, which got an upgrade, this is the one. I know I want to play my Resto Shaman a lot this week. I'm going to full send my crests. I'm going to full send my crafts. All right? I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Okay? This is definitely, this is the first time. No. This is the one I want. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. This one's going to be good. All right? I have a lot of good stuff. I haven't sent my crafts yet. This guy has a lot. Oh, actually, it did send a weapon craft. So hopefully I don't get a weapon. But otherwise, this can only be a good vault, right? There's no way we get 3 bad rings. I have a full heroic and a full mythic plus vault on my shaman, right? My shaman is fairly low gear. I can't lose. I can't lose here. All right? The question is, do we open as Resto or Ellie? That's a good question. Now we're talking about healers compared to DPS. Let's take a look at the trinkets that we're looking for right now. When you go, you will find there are a few trinkets that you don't want as Resto. In particular, this one is very bad. You're never going to play this. So my suggestion is that you open as Ellie, right? You want to open as Ellie here. There's just a higher chance you're going to get the trinkets you want, and it's the same basic loot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Can't lose. I lost. Oh, no. I lost. Oh. Pain. Oh, that's rough. All right. I shouldn't have said anything. I shouldn't have said anything. I already have the heroic boots from Soul Hunters. That ring is the worst possible stats that actually could be for Resto Shaman. And these are a second pair of boots, which is rough. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I got other good vaults. This is what happens. This is what happens. Now, granted, I can take this headpiece. Oh, I already catalyzed. Oh, that's rough. Okay. All right. I don't need the headpiece. That's fine. I could take the ring. It's high crit. I could take the ring. I could take this haste verse neck piece. Oh boy. Okay. So, yes. Let's talk about the decisions here. Let's talk about the decisions, okay? A socket is very, 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 very low value this season. No, this is okay. This is part of the video. This is part of the process that we have to go through. A socket is very low value, okay? You don't want a socket. Now, what could be considered a very good option is taking these boots for the sake of saving 115 gilded crests. Ruined crests are no longer valuable. You already should be capped on them. You should already be able to get 704 on every piece without any issues. If you have not wasted your ruined crest, you will have plenty of them. So really, the options are I could take a mythic ring or these boots just to save some crests. You know, I guess a high crit ring is technically not the end of the world, and I do very much need a ring. So a high crit ring for Resto Shaman is not that bad, but ideally you want very little mastery. So I have some options, but obviously I would use this crit haste over this next. So the options that I have here are basically a socket or save 15 gilded crests, okay? Now, my Resto Shaman has not had great vaults this season because my very first vault, I only did a few, and I got 2 bad rings and this trinket, which obviously I'll use for now. My next vault was all right. I got these mythic shoulders, which I had already full sent on an upgrade. That is okay. You know what? Part of this video should be never ever say that this is the one you're excited about, because it was going well before this. I could take these boots. I might have to think about this a little bit. I could take these boots because, technically speaking, these are myth, and this is heroic, and it's better stats, but this is such a powerful effect that I don't think you're ever not going to play this. I'm pretty sure you will play this even at 710 over 723 boots. This is a very powerful effect, okay? So I think realistically, this is just to save 15 crests if I took these. Might not be worth it. I'll think about it. I might actually take this crit mastery ring. There's a world where this is rare enough. Very, very, very high crit is very nice. So there's a world I could do this. Hello there. Hello. I'm going to think about this vault. I have one more to check. The next one will certainly be better. Okay? The next one the next one's probably better. Which is my Prez Evoker, who does 1 key a week. The 1 key wonder. The 1 key wonder. All right? This one, for sure. This one's going to be terrible. Allow me to explain. This one's going to be terrible. This is going to be the worst vault I have ever seen. I'm going to get a verse mastery ring with no tertiary. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be disappointed. But it's okay. Right? It's okay. I know I'm not really going to play my Prez much this season. So it's definitely, this is for sure, right? This is going to be a bad ring that I don't want. Right? That's clearly what's going to happen here. It's no problem. Yes. I am going to be very disappointed in this vault. This is one of the techs you can do. I will certainly be disappointed. I'm going to be so disappointed. Very, very disappointed. Opening as devastation. This is going to be a terrible vault. I got mythic legs. Great. Excellent. Fantastic. So my last tip for you is always use reverse psychology on your vaults, and you are destined to win. Right? Doesn't matter. I catalyze them. You can catalyze this, no problem. Mythic legs, can't complain. All right. So aside from my Resto Shaman getting a little bit out of luck, considering I actually had a full vault on the Resto Shaman, I would call this a success. Hopefully, this helps you with your gearing process. The one caveat I want to say is you are right, as people were mentioning. There is a very real chance that if you have a raid vault and you really want the Lumithar trinket, you could open as Resto, and you could open as your healer spec for the chance at that heroic trinket. I tend to prioritize myth track stuff over heroic stuff, even if that trinket's quite powerful. So very realistically, you could open if you want that trinket, but that's pretty much the only reason.